Ciao friends, my name is Joey Balistreri. Welcome to my channel. I am so excited. This is the Magical Mystery Bead Box from Jesse James Beads for May of 2025, and it is called the Sweets Shop. It is absolutely delicious and sweet, no pun intended. I don't want to be corny, but what else can you say about it? It's so beautiful. So I'm going to go really quickly through the unboxing because I want to do 3 projects in this video, and I've designed a 4th one. I just love this box. It is whimsical, but it's also like fun. It's the colors that are perfect for shorts and t-shirts and the spring and summer, season coming up and what we wear and the things that we do. And I'm really excited about my projects. So I'm going to start with these 4 beautiful bead mixes. There is a gorgeous wild berry pie. I'm going to dump all of these in a little dish, but I'm just going to go through everything. Lemon chiffon. So pretty. And I disclose right now that I've already peeked in these boxes. You guys know that I have. This one is called Strawberry Shortcake. And the last one is called Pistachio Dacquoise. Is it Dacquoise? I don't know. My French is a little rusty, but this is beautiful. So again, oops, I need to settle down because this box is so exciting. But I just love the pastel colors of the green, pink, yellow, and this is like a mix of lavenders and blues. It's absolutely stunning. Just those 4 make me so happy. But look at the fresh baked bead strand. These little acrylic donuts are absolutely stunning, and they look very much like glass, and they're just wonderful. I am crazy about these little beads here. They're acrylic beads with like a frosted finish on them, but they look exactly like a coconut cookie or coconut snowball cookie recipe that I have, and I just love it. Beautiful ceramic hearts that kind of look like candy, and even some glass donuts in here. It's just so beautiful. And these little frosted, there's a couple of little frosted beads on this strand. And then the next bead strand is called 2 Scoops Sundae, and it has these gorgeous faceted crystal bead caps. And the way they've stacked the beads on these bling balls, it looks a little bit like a cupcake because they've done this flower bead cap facing down. The designers at Jesse James Beads just do a great job. This is like a metaphorical cupcake or scoop of ice cream with the whipped cream on top and a cherry on top. It's just absolutely delightful. And then this is one of the most uniquely engineered chains I've ever seen. It's called Buttercream. Let me just pull it off of this so you can really see it. It is a ready-to-go chain. It has a lobster claw clasp and the jump rings, and really you could add some, let me get mine untangled, really you could add some dangles in between the crystals that are already wired on here if you wanted to, or you could use it just like this as a layering piece, but I am planning to cut mine apart and create a bracelet and a necklace. There's enough length here to get a bracelet and a necklace, but you could also trim this, rescue a couple of these crystals, and even use this as an earring drop. But it's so beautiful, and it's really uniquely engineered. This is like a double ball head pin, and every other link has one of those embellishments, I guess we'll call it, but it's so wonderful, and it's really fluid, like the crystal beads just roll across your fingers. It's just really beautiful. And then I love these. This is called Sprinkles, and that is exactly what it is. This is a little acrylic donut bead, but they have sprinkles encased in the donut, so it is just absolutely perfect. And I've already designed a little thing that I'm going to do with these to go in one of my projects today. And I've also already designed with these little beads. This is called Sweet Treat. Don't these look like sugar? They look exactly like little sugar candies. They're in the pastel colors of the candy necklaces that I remember like wearing and eating when I was playing outside when I was little, and they're just delightful. And these are that in that peanut shape, but when you stack them together, they make this really cool shape because they fit inside each other. And Jessie James Beads has this exact shape in a beautiful mother of pearl on their website right now that I've done a recent design with, and they're just wonderful. They're so fun to play with. And then this is awesome. This beautiful pair of earring findings, earring findings. But my idea with this is to turn them this way, short to like the short end with the long end on either side, and connect this here with a jump ring, or even make a little component with a bead and simple loops and make a pendant. That would be so pretty. Or a bracelet bar. That would make a really pretty bracelet bar. So those are fun to play with. And this was in the cherry on top. I opened everything, but it was called Cherry on Top, this little connector set. And in with that are these beautiful connectors, faceted crystals, and the little cherries with the leaves at the top, a small and a large cherry. They're so beautiful. Little prong set crystals. Just stunning. So really that could be such a simple project to like add this and a cherry and another bead or a tassel. I mean, just fun, 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 and easy. And then last but not least, it's always so sad to get to the last thing, but I'm not really sad because I'm really excited about what I'm making today. But this is a stunning pink crystal prong set marquee focal bead. It is just beautiful. It has a little filigree on the top and bottom and around the middle, and it's just gorgeous. You could actually run stringing material this way. You could go right through the middle and decorate like beautiful. Top to bottom. I absolutely love that. So let me just set some things aside. I'm going to dump these little pots into 4 dishes so I can design with them. So just be a second for me to clean up my mat, and let's start making. So let me just give you a little peek at the bead mixes. This is the pistachio one. I love this cylindrical cat's eye bead, and there's some beautiful crystals that are flower shaped in here, and a top drilled lentil bead that is also faceted, and these cool little mint green, they're faceted, and they're almost in the shape of an hourglass, and they look so much like a piece of candy. And then the pink mix is just wonderful. It has these donut beads in it and some smaller little round pink and red swirled beads, sort of a table cut looking crystal that's in the shape of an oversized piece of rice. And I love these faceted twisted beads. They're gorgeous. And there's some faceted pink crystals in here. Just stunning. And then the yellow bead mix is gorgeous. It has this chevron etched crystal bead, another quatrefoil that's faceted, and oblong cylinder faceted bead. And I love this one. It's frosted with a gold wash, just gorgeous. And the mixes are dotted with gold and silver, so I'm going to be mixing gold and silver in all of my pieces. And then I love this bead in the lavender and blue mix. It's a teardrop, and it's just swirled with blues and lavenders. There's a beautiful there's 2 different crystals in here. There's one that's more opaque in the lavender and one that's crystal clear, and both are faceted. And there's some little blue coin beads in here, also faceted like a stop sign. Some white. I love that they've dotted the whole thing with white because it mimics like frosting or whipped cream, whipped topping. I mean, it's metaphorical, like sweets shop, and it's fun and sweet and delicious. I mean, the beads are just delicious. I don't want to be like corny, but how can you not say that? So I have 2 pairs of earrings here, and if you've been around me before, you know that I really like to personalize my bead boxes. So I'm going to show you what I did for these earrings, making my own ear wires. But if you guys remember, I don't know if it was a couple years back, 2-3 years back, there was an Alice in Wonderland magical mystery bead box, and there was a bead mix called Tea Party. And I was given extras of this by my friend Beth. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Beth. She ended up not using this bead mix and she knew that I would love it. So she brought it to me and she said, I can't wait to see what you make with this. And it's been kind of resting and I haven't done anything with it, but I want to take out the teacups from this Magical Mystery Bead Box. There was a little teapot charm in there, maybe even these. This is not exactly the right colorway, this last teacup, but this is such a colorful, it's a little bit of an orangey pink. It's kind of coral. So I don't know if I'll use it, but I definitely want to at least get one teacup and teapot. There's a couple of them in here. I'll take them out. But this was just the sweetest, also kind of in this color story of green, yellow, pink. So I am going to do something with those. And then I have a recent trip to the craft store and I just picked this up. It was 50% off, so it was $1.50. And I love the enamel bracelet. For one thing, no anti-tarnish when we get into the season where we're wearing sunscreen and things like that. These links that are coated, you know, they really hold up. So I want to use this as my base bracelet, and I'm going to be doing a charm bracelet. So I'm going to really be mixing up the colors. I'm also adding in a couple of glass hearts that I had from my stash. I've already started making my charms, so those are going to go there. And then I have already been playing with my strands after I cut them open to just make some charms out of them, out of the sweets. Mixing the gold and silver, and I'm using gold and silver ball head pins, and I made a little coconut snowball charm here, again mixing gold and silver, a crystal rondelle spacer. I'm doing simple loops on everything, and I'm making a little sprinkle charm out of the sprinkle beads. So I'll show you what I did with this one because I was playing with the bead caps in the box. I really like the bead caps that they put in the box, and I need to do more, of course, but my bracelet is off to a running start. And off to the side here, I have made some small jump rings to attach all my charms with, my gold and silver ball head pins, and I have a little pile of 8/0 gold seed beads off to the side, and as well some silver, because I just decided to keep it simple and just dot everything with gold and silver seed beads. So I am ready to get to making. The first earring is absolutely adorable. I needed a rather large ring. Let me close this a bit better. I needed a rather large loop or ring to accommodate the pink donut, the strawberry donut bead, and I needed some large jump rings, so I made these, and I did a double attachment here, and I'm just paying attention to my orientation on this earring. I'm going to hold it like this so you can see that I wanted this donut bead to be facing forward on my earring. I didn't want to see it this way. I wanted to see it this way. My next two drops or components are a 360 degree. It doesn't matter how they spin around. They always look the same. But my final drop is one of the crystal lentil beads, and I also wanted that to be facing forward. I didn't want it to hang from my earring like that. So you get this beautiful dangly. I did an all-in-one ear wire where my earring just becomes the ear wire, and I love that. So I've made this one already, and the reason that I did is because when I do my ear wires like this, I like to do them at the same time, both on my bail making plier, and get them exactly the same. So I'm just going to connect this one with you, but my next pair of earrings, I have the wire here, and I'll show you exactly how I do those ear wires step by step for newer people. So this becomes almost like a jump ring, and I'm just going to open it enough to slide my donut bead on and just close it really well. I'm going to work at the top, from the top of the earring, and work my way down. And next I'm going to take two more of the jump rings that I made. These are 10mm jump rings, and I'm going to thread those onto my donut. Maybe. Can't seem to talk and thread on a jump ring at the same time. And just make sure everything is closed really well. Get both of these jump rings on here. Okay, so far it looks like that. I have these two jump rings side by side, and now I'm going to take a little silver jump ring that I made. This one is 4mm, and I'm going to gather up both of those and close that. And so we look like that, and now I am going to need to make the rest of the components. So I'm using my 20 gauge soft flex wire, and I am using my 2 1/4mm one-step looper. When I make my simple loops, I use this tool a lot because it really saves my hand, but I'm going to do some of my loops also by hand, so I'll be able to show you both ways that I do my loops. Everybody gets their own rhythm, so everybody will do whatever gets them the best loop, yields them the best loop. So I just took some little silver spacers from my stash because I really wanted to mix this up, and these little spacer beads from the mixes and the yellow, and so I'm kind of creating the look of a bead cap by stacking a gold and silver spacer on each end of this component. And then I'm going to get a hold of that, put it back in my one-step looper through the guide hole, and get a second simple loop in this component. And we look like that, and on to the next. This is my, let's see, what am I on, my third component. And on this one, I did a silver spacer at the bottom, and I just went into my stash because there were only silver bead caps in the box and then these white flower ones, and I just wanted a gold bead cap, so I just grabbed something from my stash and did this little stack so that that purple teardrop sits inside the bead cap. And I'm going to repeat another simple loop for this component. And this one, I will open it a little more, and this one gets attached directly to the previous component. And again, I just want to make sure that I have not misaligned my loops. And so far, we are looking like that. And for the last one, it's super simple. I just took a silver jump ring this time because I want to continue alternating gold and silver. Gold is my favorite, so I'm always a little heavier with the gold presents if I'm making something that I think I'll wear a lot. And that's what I'm doing here, is just heavier on the gold presents, but I did want a nice pleasant mix, an even mix. And I'm just going to close my final jump ring really well. And my first little pair of earrings is done. I just love these all-in-one ear wires. It's one of my favorite ways to make earrings, where my earring just continues right into my ear wire. It's seamless and it's just beautiful. So let me show you how I do those ear wires. And I'm just going to say here, like on this one, I needed to do this really large because of the thickness here and here of this donut. That was going to be my top bead, but you can make this loop any size that you want. Think about what your first bead is going to be. And a lot of times when I'm doing these, I put a bead at the top here before I create my ear wire, but I really liked the simple effect on these of doing it without a bead. So those are options when you're doing your own ear wires. And I like to start with 2 pieces of wire that are identical. And again, I'm using my 20 gauge soft flex wire, but you can go up to 18 gauge if you want this to be a little bit thicker. I do fine with this. So for me, I really like this. And I'm going to start by thinking about the loop that I need for the bottom. And on these, it can be a really small loop because it's going right into another small loop. So I'm going to hold my 2 wires side by side. And this is probably my favorite bail making plier. These are the two sizes that I use the most. And since I don't need a large loop for this pair of earrings, I'm going to, let me turn it this way. I'm going to put my two wires side by side in between the two barrels of the plier, and I'm going to turn these loops with my two wires held together and just come all the way around until they meet. So my two first loops are identical, and of course you can do adjustments afterwards, but then I'm going to come to this side, again holding everything together, and take my pliers here. Let me close this loop. Let me just make a little adjustment here. You can do them one by one, but when I'm going to make a pair of earrings, I try to put them together. I feel like I get a better, closeness, a better likeness, mirroring. But I do need to close that one a little bit. It happens sometimes if your hand slips while you're holding them. Okay, and then I'm going to give each one a bend, and you could do this together or separate, but this is the front of my earring. So, that's really important when you're doing your own ear wires this way, is to know what the front is going to be. And I'm going to come right where my wire meets the back, and I'm going to do it this way. I normally face it this way, but I'm just going to hold on to the loop and give this a 45-degree bend. So it looks like that. And I'll do the same thing on this one. Just same exact thing. Just get a hold of it right where the wire meets. Get a hold of that loop and do a 45-degree bend. So they look like that now. And now you can put them back together. And again, this is going to be the front of my earring, because when I look at it, I want the whole thing to be seamless. I want whatever opening to be what I'm going to designate is the back of the earring. And I'm going to just line these up again and come back. Let me get my fingers out of the way. Line these up again and come back to my pliers. And I want to be where I'm wrapping around my larger barrel this time. And you could do the smaller one if you like it. But this is going to be the actual part that goes in your ear. Let me get lined up again. Okay, so I'm going to put this in so that I am going to fold these two wires over the largest barrel. And I'm holding it pretty tight here, just so that I can get everything secured. And now I'm just going to wrap this over the fatter barrel. And again, you can make adjustments when you're done. So I'm going to come down pretty far. And when I take it away, my ear wires are more or less done. But now, not totally done, because now I want to line them up once again and trim them so that they are the exact same length. So just take your time, get them lined up, choose a spot. I'm going to go right about there, aim it down to protect my eyes. And now I'm going to come with my flat nose plier and just get a hold of it so that the end of my wire is lined up, and just kick that out. And you can adjust, straighten your wire. Anything now that got misaligned or wasn't perfect, you can do that at this point. And you can, if you like the back of your ear wire to be longer, you can do them longer. I prefer mine a little bit shorter, because I find when I leave this longer, sometimes it scratches my neck, or I feel it, and I want my earrings to be comfortable. And then you need to smooth out the end of your ear wire. I like my battery operated bead reamer with the rounder attachment on the end. I don't have the reamer, I have this little attachment on the end, and it fits over the end of the wire. So you put the wire in this little cup and press the button and go around, to smooth out where you've cut your ends. And that is just perfect. And you can do this with, like, I have a vintage buffer that you buff metal with. Where is that? You can do it with something like this and just, you know, go around and smooth the ends. But I am a jewelry toolaholic, and I love my little battery operated reamer. You can also use like a memory board, you know, something that you would file your nails with. But I just quite love my little gadget here. It works so well. Perfect. Okay, the ear wires are done, and now this is just simple attaching. So now I can come to my loop here and open it, just like a jump ring, off to one side, and attach my earring and close it really well. And my second little pair of earrings is done in all those candy colors. Oh my gosh, it looks edible. So I'm going to show you how I did that. This is how I did this simple loop on this one by hand, and I was just going to show you how I did that. This is a gold ball head pin, and from this mix I put one of these kind of table cut looking crystals, a silver seed bead, because I'm switching, you know, just dotting a little bit of silver. And I did these candy beads, these peanut shaped beads, stacked on top of each other just like that, with a silver bead on the top. And I matched my colors. I guess you could choose at random, but I chose the same colors for both earrings. And then I'm going to take my pliers here and just put a sharp bend in my head pin. I could not think of the word for head pin, and I want this to be a really small loop, so I'll stay down on the tip of my plier. And so when I don't use my one-step looper for simple loops, I do mine this way. I bring the wire over the top. It looks as if I'm about to do a wire wrapped loop. I'll rotate and then bring this around and roll it down and make whatever adjustments I need to that loop, getting it centered on my stack of beads, getting it just right. And when I take that away, I come in with my snips, and right where, let me go on top this way, it's a little bit easier, but right where the wire meets itself, I do a little snip. And then before I close it, I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the previous component. So it gets attached to the bottom of this component. Might have to open it a little more. I do have to open it a tiny bit more and just attach it, and now close it really well. Just get it right down to the top of the bead. Work hard in a little bit, tidy everything up, and that is now ready to go on my other ear wire. So I'm just going to open that one and slip this on. And my second sweet, beautiful candy earrings are done. Aren't they pretty? This whole box just makes me so happy. I find myself sort of giggling a little bit. And so what I'm going to do on my bracelet is I'll add in the charms that I've already made, and then kind of determine how many more I want to make. And I'll show you how I did this one, and I think I'm going to do another one of these as well, and decide about my teacups. So I think I will start in the middle of my links here, and I definitely want the yellow teacup in. I just thought it was so pretty with the beads. So even if I decide not to use the others, I do want my yellow teacup. So I'm going to take from my little pot. I just made these, I think these are about 5 millimeter. I honestly forget which step on my bail making plier I used, but I just made these because charms dangle so nicely when you hang them from a jump ring, instead of opening the simple loops and adding them right on. And I don't know if I'm going to need a bigger jump ring for the teacup. Let's see. Nope, it works. And come right to my middle link. Oh my goodness, you guys, even if I just stopped right there, this little bracelet already makes me so happy, even if I just stopped right there. But of course, I'm not. Let's see, what's next? I'm gonna do a donut bead next. And on this, I think, you know, there's a top and bottom to the links. If you can see, like, I'm gonna consider this the top of the link and this the bottom. And I think that I'm going to just go to the next link at the top. I'm going to alternate, and then if I want to go back and do a second charm on each link, I will. That's also the nice thing about just using jump rings, is if things aren't hanging right, you can make really fast adjustments with your jump rings. Okay, I think that I want to make another one of these sprinkle charms, and so that'll give me a chance to show you what I did. I'm going to take a gold ball head pin, and from this mix I'm going to take one of these they're filigree bead caps, but the metal is really soft and malleable, and I'm going to go ahead and open it out a little bit with my fingers. And I'm going to take a gold seed bead and put my filigree on, and then put my sprinkle bead on, and just kind of mold this, flatten it and mold it with my fingers around the bead. I really love playing with these types of malleable bead caps because you can really get it to looking just like it was suited perfectly for your bead. So it looks like that. And then I took from my stash, you guys have seen this before if you watch my videos a lot, this little Tibetan spacer mix, and I chose this one that almost has a bicone look, like a double cone end to it, because it fits right down in the large hole of this sprinkle bead and it stabilizes it. So it looks just like that. Did I put a bead on top? No, I didn't. So it stabilizes it. So I just love that I'm getting the gold and silver mix. And on this one, I did do a wire wrapped loop. So I came right to the top really tight, like I'm pulling this down tight, and put a 90-degree bend. It's the same way that I start my simple loops when I do them by hand. And I'm just going to put my round nose pliers in there, and these steps look exactly the same. Rotate, bring that around, I roll my wrist down and get that loop centered on my beads. But I wanted to do a wire wrapped loop because this is very, you know, it's not stable even when that bead sits down inside, and I want it to be nice and secure and just be, you know, a little sprinkle bead. And I like the shape that I got with stacking these beads as well. So I'm just going to wrap neatly one coil after the previous one, right down, and just push everything tight. Do you guys hear my dog snoring? I've asked her to go sleep in her bed, but she's under my work table and she is snoring up a storm. I hope it is not too distracting. I'm so used to it that it's running in the background and I don't notice it so much, but she's under my table snoring. Oprah, Oprah, go to your bed. Go to your bed. And I will even use my nylon jaw pliers if my fingers aren't strong enough, you know, to kind of mold the bead cap to my sprinkle bead. But that is the cutest little charm, and so I'm ready to add that next. Up next is my other donut bead, and I did the same thing on this one. I used that malleable bead cap to just shape it around the bottom of the donut, and it just adds like a little bit of a lacy. To me, it's very poetical. Like when you're in a sweets shop, a lot of times they have lace paper doilies for the sweets to sit on, and those bead caps look just like that to me. Like the whole thing is very poetical and just wonderful. So I have something on every link except the last two on this end and the last three on this end, and I think I'm going to make my last charm one of these teapots. So I just made a little yellow component just to make the teapot a little bit more in scale. It's kind of small compared to the other things on my charm bracelet. So I just added a little bit, and I wanted a little bit more yellow in my piece. So let me see, I'm connecting every other link to the top, every other link to the bottom. So let's see where I am. This one would go right here. And so I can go back if I want this to be heavier with charms and add more to the other side. But I think that I'm going to be happy with it with this many charms. And I also think that I want to kind of finesse. It's a very inexpensive bracelet, bracelet base, but I mostly just bought it because I loved the pink enamel links. And I just think this is adorable. I have so much left over. I pulled out a lot and I could really do something else. And in fact, I have designed a necklace with these beads as well. But I think that I want to do a little bit better chain on this end, and also maybe add a link with a jump ring. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this little extender chain off and set that aside and get this jump ring assortment. I have this little assortment of twisted jump rings that are really heavy gauge, and I'm going to choose the largest one and do 5 of them. Just create like a jump ring extender chain, and then I can make a charm for the last one, and it can be something that, you know, I really love. The teapots are a little bit heavy, but I love these twisted beads. I love this twisted bead, so maybe that could be a charm. Oh, I was even thinking of adding a donut onto my charm bracelet. Let me make the chain first. Let me add my extender chain, and then I'll decide what I want to make as a charm for the final link. I just almost cannot stand to leave the last link of an extender chain empty. I know that people do it and it's not wrong to do it, but for me it's just a little spot that is screaming for a dangle or a charm or something. And these jump rings are really good for this kind of thing because they are such heavy gauge. They're really nice and strong and thick and really perfect to make a chain with. I'm going to use this silver ball head pin and just dot with gold and silver. I love this yellow bead. It's faceted, it's a coin bead, and it even has a little twist to it, and it looks like candy. It looks like a hard candy, another sweet treat. So I'm going to do a simple loop in here, and this is going to be my embellishment for my final link on my fun, whimsical charm bracelet. With last month's Magical Mystery Bead Box, I did a storybook bracelet with the hand-blown glass ducky bead, and all I could think about is this little girl that I babysit, and I'm about to have her again for a week, and she is 7 years old and loves story time with me, and we go get our nails done and we go for bicycle rides, and these kinds of things just make her so happy, and she thinks I am the coolest thing since sliced bread. So I will make some things like this for her, and then I make some for me, and we wear them together, and that's what I'm thinking of as I work on this project, is my sweet little friend that I love so much. Okay, one last jump ring, and this bracelet is done. Clean up a little bit. This is the cutest thing. I love even the little jingle to it, and I love personalizing a store-bought chain and just changing it up. I've alternated my attachment. It doesn't work so well with my butterfly bracelet, but I have a nice long extender chain, and I can hang that part over my wrist and bring my lobster claw clasp around and adjust the length on this. I can, you know, depending on my shirt and what I'm wearing. As everybody knows, you cannot clasp a bracelet when the camera is rolling, but I'd really like to try this one on. I think I got it. Okay, and look at that. Isn't that fun? Oh my goodness. There's so many things to fidget with and play with. And no matter how this turns around, even to the extender chain. It is just lovely. And I love mixing the gold and silver, and I love the whimsy of the teacup, having tea or coffee with your sweets. I absolutely love this. As Jessie James Beads, you knocked it out of the park again. I do have another design that I want to work on, and I will put links in the description box for anything that I've brought in that wasn't a craft store item, like these jump rings. I recently got these, and they're super heavy gauge, and the twisting gives them such style. So you can actually use these as a solid ring because they're so strong, and they make a great chain if you connect them like I did. And anything else, when I edit the video, I'll look at my supplies, and if I can provide a link, I know that helps a lot of you that are trying to collect things for your projects. So you have to, on my description boxes, they're really extensive, so you have to tap more, and a lot of times more a second time to see the whole thing. It depends on the device that you're watching on. But I also have a discount code for Jessie James Beads, and I will put that link in the description box as well. If you would like to subscribe to the Magical Mystery Bead Box, it works on that. And a lot of people don't realize that the longer you sign up to receive the Magical Mystery Bead Box, the lower the price becomes. So you pay a certain amount per month if you choose 3 months. It's even less if you choose 6 months, and even less if you sign up for a whole year. And also, if you're not interested in getting a monthly box, my discount code is also usable for shopping the website. So the links will be in the description box. I thank you so much for watching today. I hope everybody is safe and well and having fun on your beading mats. Ciao, friends.